Okay guys, we just made it home from our recent MSC cruise. Now we were told by some not to take a cruise on MSC because everything about MSC is horrible. And then there were others who were saying that MSC was actually their favorite cruise line, give them a try. So we decided to give it a try for ourselves and stay tuned to hear our honest review. Boarding day was chaotic. MSC's boarding day process is a little different from that of other cruise lines in which we've sailed. There's certain documentation that has to be printed out. You cannot show it to them on your phone. You have to have it in your hand.
Yes, boarding day was crazy. We had to stand in very long lines, and I didn't see any signs that led us into various directions. So we just kind of followed along with the other crowd.
Yes, and then we had those who were working in the terminal who, like, there were two workers standing side by side, one telling us to hurry up and go and the other one telling us to stop. Right. And it was to the point where it's like they were mad at us. And it's like, you guys don't hear each other. You're right there in close proximity, yet you're giving us conflicting information. But we did have some nice workers who, towards the end, they made the process a little smoother. The other part is, oh my gosh, their muster drill process. They sent everyone back to their cabins to watch a video online. Yes. Then you had to dial a number. Then everyone had to go to a certain location, to wherever your location was. We literally did a U-turn just for them to scan our IDs, and then we were done. It was a lot going on that day.
Yes, indeed. Too many steps will make us forget what to do in a case of emergency. Who's going to remember 7 different steps, 6 or 5 different steps? Well, you got to call, you got to do this, got to do all of that. That's too many steps. Condense your process. That would definitely help out. We're ready to get to the fun.
Yes. Now, on board, let's talk about the service. Initially, some of the workers, it's as if they were preconditioned for rudeness. That's how it came across to me. I don't know if you felt that way. So when we were trying to ask questions because we were new to MSC, it's like they had this pre-recorded message and they just pressed play on their brains and it came out of their mouths, and they weren't even answering the questions in which we were asking. They were giving us information and we were like, that's not what we're asking. They just kept repeating that same information. And we know that there were a lot of guests on board who were probably working their patience, but it's like, okay, come on, give us the answer to the questions in which we're actually asking. But after a little while, that kind of calmed down. So the dining room staff, they were friendly. Yeah. Our cabin stewardess, we saw them maybe one time, right. But during that time, they were friendly. Any other things about the service on board?
I think the service was, exactly what Key just mentioned, that it was very spotty. When you recognize good customer service, you shout and you are excited and you go to that same person. When we went to, where did we go? We went to customer service at the guest services. This lady went above and beyond to ensure that the internet was working for us. And I wanted kudos to her. So when you see good customer service, you definitely recognize it. When you see horrible customer service, it's noticeable.
Yes, and the spottiness again was on that first day only. Only on the first day. After that, we didn't have any issues with customer service.
Great.
The food, okay. The first day when we went to the buffet, of course they had options. There were so many people that, our options were minimized. We went straight for the pizza. The pizza was good. We had, of course, like most cruise lines, there was lemonade, juice, tea, water. Those beverages were available. Later that night when we went to main dining, it was not good at all. Yeah. We tried main dining again. It was horrific. And then we actually went back to the buffet several times just to get some pizza. That's the only thing we stuck with in the main dining. But beverage options, they only had water.
Yeah.
It was just water, and we refused to drink the water, and then we couldn't bring drinks on board. So we kind of went a little thirsty, or spent money buying, beverages.
Yes, indeed. That was one big issue that I see is MSC fixed the food options. there's an issue there. And also, when we went to the buffet area, some of the machines wasn't working at all.
None of the beverage machines outside of boarding day, at least when we went. Now, someone else could have been on the same cruise as us, and they could have gone at a different time, and perhaps the drinks were available for them. But every time we would go into the buffet area, there were no drinks available besides water and sometimes milk.
When we think about the specialty dining,
yes, now the specialty dining was good. The food was tasty. It was very seasoned. The service was great. The only thing is, it wasn't just piping hot, you know.
Yeah.
It was lukewarm, but again, it tasted a lot better than the food that they were serving in the main dining. So we appreciate that. And then we met other people on the cruise, and they had the specialty dining package. They had eaten at various specialty dining restaurants, and they said that, you know, it never failed them. So specialty dining, great. Main dining,
not so great.
No. In terms of activities, the shows that they provided, we were only able to catch one show, I believe.
Yeah, one
and
show.
So the other show was canceled. We had a paid show, and they ended up refunding us that money because the ship kept rocking so much that the performers weren't able to perform. Of course, the Sportplex, there was plenty to do there, but it was at an additional cost. They did have the basketball courts that were available. Whenever we would try to visit, there were younger people there, and, you know, we just let them have that area. But it was a nice, chill place to be. They had a pool area that was nice, but it was a little chilly. I mean, the entire cruise, it was a little chilly. But they did have a lot of activities and events that occurred in the atrium area. So there was lots of dancing. We had an all-white party.
Yes. That was live. Now, MSC, they do a great job with the Latin night, with the all-white. It felt like everybody from the cruise ship came on board, and that they came on the ship looking forward to this activity at night. So it was very nice. It was nice music and everything. It was lovely.
Yes, they had dance classes, as you know, other cruise lines, and they also had a dance competition. So it reminded me of, what is the show called?
Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah, Dancing with the Stars. So that was nice. And like I said, a lot of different shows that occurred during the atrium that were free, they were open. If you were passing by, just stop in. You know, that part was nice. So we boarded the Meraviglia in New York, and our ports of call were Port Canaveral, Nassau, Bahamas, and Ocean Key, the private island. So after a sea day, we made it to Port Canaveral. Of course, there was nothing to do immediately when you got off the ship. And it was cold, and we literally just got off for a few minutes. I mean, was it even 10 minutes?
No, we just got off to stretch our legs since we had a sea day previously. So, you know, taking the trip down further, you have to go all the way down to Cocoa Beach is about, I think, like 15 minutes away, but who want to go to a beach when it's kind of cool and cold?
Yes.
So,
and that's the reason why. So a lot of people, you know, we heard them complaining they had plans to go to the beach, but it was cold, and they're like, oh, it's really nothing to do. So after just standing outside in the port area for a few minutes, we headed right back on the ship. So then the next day we were in Nassau, Bahamas.
yes. The good thing that I like about MSC, they have longer overnight, kind of like an overnight stay, like where other cruise lines, you getting back on the ship by 4 p.m., right? And heading back out to the ocean. So MSC, we stayed there till about 10 p.m. roughly. So that was a great perk, I believe.
Yeah, so we did get off the ship in Nassau. We've been to Nassau 1,000 times. And the only thing we did was we went to the Bearded Clown.
Yeah.
Shout out to Parkers on the Go, Brandon, for the wing recommendation. So we went there. We got some wings. We had to get some food.
Yes.
And we headed back on the ship. And then later on, we actually got off again. And besides our first cruise, the first cruise we ever took, we were at the Bahamas overnight. Yes. It was different being off the ship in Nassau at nighttime. So we got back off, and we actually went to one of the little shops there and bought some drinks and snacks.
Yeah, I had to go get my small rum punch. I always Gumbay.
The punch, yes.
Yeah, so that was a go-to punch.
Yes.
Also, I want to back a little bit. Remember the band that they had playing?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool that they had a whole band playing out there by the port area. And if you haven't been back to Nassau, come on back to Nassau because they're making a lot of great renovations and improvements.
Yes.
So I love the new port area.
Yes. And as we were there that night, it's like the storm started coming in, the temp changed, it started raining and everything. Yeah. And so it was to the point where when we were getting on the ship, they didn't really check everything that we had. So gratefully, we were able to make it on with our drinks, with our snacks, and we were grateful for that. But then we got the bad news that we would not be going to Ocean Key. And that was one of the primary reasons for us taking the trip. I mean, we're in Texas. Why would we go all the way to New York just to cruise back south?
Yes.
We took this cruise so that we could experience Ocean Key, and they said we couldn't go. So instead of going to Ocean Key, where do we end up?
We ended back in Miami.
We were in Miami.
All right, guys. We're supposed to be going to Ocean Key. Well, unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans, and we're currently in Miami.
And we're stuck.
We're stuck in Miami. We had to get off the ship. Well, it's a whole entire process.
The whole ship everyone had to disembark, and no one can get back on the ship until we receive clearance here in Miami. Why? Because they said it wasn't on our original itinerary, so here we are. We have been here since 9 this morning. Now it is after 1, and we're still sitting here waiting on clearance.
So, of course, if you take any cruise, Miami is the main port area for the new cruise ships or cruise in general. Mm-hmm. So, oh man, we went, instead of going to Ocean Key, we ended right back in that same area of Miami. And what did we do?
And that was complete chaos. Because we were told that every single passenger would have to get off of the ship, go through customs, and you would have to wait until everyone had gotten off of the ship and we received clearance before you could return back on the ship. Now, we heard this information. Some people say that they never heard this information, so it was complete chaos. There were those who did not want to get off the ship. Mm-hmm. We were all stuck in the terminal, just sitting there for hours, waiting for this process to finish. And when the terminal workers, I don't know their proper titles, when they were trying to give instructions, they didn't have an intercom. There was no microphone. People are trying to hear them. People are stampeding. I mean, it was complete and utter chaos.
Yes,
it was completely chaotic. People mad over seats. People having to sit on the floor. People are like, oh my gosh, I just got to get on the ship. People finally getting off the ship saying, if they wanted us off the ship, then why didn't they shut down the bars? Because they were saying that the bars are still open and people were still there, drinking and everything. They were at the buffet eating. And it's like, okay, MSC, if you knew that all of us had to get off the ship, why didn't you, allegedly close these things down? Because we don't know if these things are factual. These are just, this is hearsay. But it was completely chaotic that day. And it was to the point where it's like, do we really, what do we want to do? Because we didn't know how long we had and we didn't have anything planned because we didn't plan to go to Miami.
Right.
But one thing we did end up doing, we ended up stopping, getting off and going to a restaurant for dinner in Miami. Best decision ever.
Yes, indeed. And, you've seen other folks getting off with Burlington bags because they was prepared. Just imagine you're prepared. You got your swimsuits. You got everything prepared to experience Ocean Key. Your mindset, the kids, Daddy, we're going to Ocean Key. Unfortunately, son, we're going to Miami.
Yes.
So it's like one of those things that you're looking forward to. And some of these folks probably plan for this trip a year in advance. For us, it was just like 2 months later, we decided to plan this trip. So we had we took the lemons and we made lemonade.
That's right.
And talk about the restaurant, babe.
Oh yeah, the restaurant was really nice. It was a great experience. It was the first time Going to this restaurant, we actually looked it up online while we were there in Miami, and we saw that it had 4 stars. Was it 4 stars?
I don't know.
It was like 4 stars. So we made a reservation. We were seated immediately. The waiter took us to an elevator while she took the stairs. So we had to take an elevator up to the seating area. They brought us out an appetizer. She recommended a soup. I can't even remember the name of the soup.
It was good. It was good.
But everything was so delicious, so worth it. She recommended a drink. Everything that she recommended was like, 10 out of 10.
Yes,
it was wonderful. A great experience. We had so much food. It was just a great experience. Yeah. So like you said, we took lemons, we made lemonade out of it. We did see several people, like what he was explaining is we were all expecting a Caribbean beach experience. We expected warm weather. So a lot of people only brought like shorts and maybe one hoodie or sweater for the New York temps. People were getting off the ship, going to Burlington, buying sweaters and sweatpants because it was cold on the ship. And the temp started changing even when we were in Miami because we were in the middle of a storm.
Right.
So we made lemons out of lemonade, but we were really, really, really looking forward to Ocean Key. Disembarkation. MSC did provide the documentation that was necessary for the disembarkation process. It explained and outlined everything that needed to occur. It told us what to do if you wanted to, self-carry, that is carry your luggage off, or if you wanted assistance with your luggage, they actually gave us the luggage tags. We didn't have to go and retrieve them from some location. Right. And if you didn't get there early enough, you were going to get a later zone. No, we received everything in our cabin. So actually disembarkation was a lot smoother than embarkation.
Very smooth.
Right.
All right, guys, we made it to the lift.
It's 7:05.
7:05.
In the lift, so this process was a lot better than embarkation.
Yes, indeed. Express is the way to go. Just make sure you have everything. Settle your account as soon as possible. Before you even, just take care of that. And then you get off and you're good to go.
And here at this terminal, they didn't even do facial recognition, no type of security check. You just walk straight off.
Yes.
It felt like we was just, hey, soon as you got your items and you're ready to get off, we was off.
Yes, and we did do the self-carry because we wanted to get off early. Overall.
Well, let me ask you, will you sell MSC again?
Now, before I answer that question, I know a lot of people are saying that it's really horrific. We actually sat down and, talked through this and thought about our entire experience. And to be honest, the only issue we really, really had with MSC was the food.
Yeah.
The cancellation of the shows and all those things, we felt like that was done. That was necessary. The ship was really rocking.
Yeah, that was a safety.
It was
safety concern.
So that was necessary. So we're not upset at them for that. Them not being able to go to Ocean Key as much as we wanted to. We understood. We were in the middle of a storm.
Right. That's part of the contract.
Right.
Things happen.
And all of the chaos that happened in Miami, I do believe that communication could have been better. But again, our main issue with MSC was just the food. We did have other issues on the ship. And our issues were mainly involving the other passengers. They took rudeness to a whole nother level.
Yes.
If you saw our live stream, you will see where I was explaining a situation that was happening at the elevators. We're standing there waiting for an elevator, and then someone just had the audacity to come and, you want to jump in front of us and bump into me. Right. No, we're not doing that. In the buffet, boarding day, people were just jumping in front of other people, taking the utensils from their hands to get food. It was ridiculous.
It's like a zoo.
Yes.
It's like a zoo.
Yes.
So we totally understand that MSC cannot pick and choose the people that want to sell on their ship. They can't.
Right.
The price point is on point. So they got a great price point system that they got going on with MSC and their options. Only thing that they have to fix right now, I believe, is just the food.
Yes.
The food is a concern.
Yes.
We can get the dining package. We can do all of that great stuff because we know that the food selection is better and the quality is better when you pay extra. When you pay extra, you get better right? It's just a point blank experience.
Yes, and then like someone mentioned in our a comment on one of our videos saying, but basically when you pay for a cruise, there are certain things that you expect. And so we do expect to be able to go to the main dining, at least have a decent meal, go to the buffet and at least be able to grab something, at least a drink if that's included, and I don't mean an alcoholic beverage. I mean, at least a tea, lemonade or something, and even during the disembarkation process, I know I'm getting back on the rude people. We had, we were standing in line waiting to carry off our luggage, and we had people who wanted to just skip the line and they felt like they should be able to go ahead of everyone else. And it wasn't, I know that there are rumors out there. Our personal experience had nothing to do with this. These people were rude to everyone. They were just rude. It didn't matter the color. They just felt like they needed to have their way. Right. And that was not an MSC thing. That was a people thing. So people do better. So now the question is, would I personally sell MSC again? Yes, I would give MSC another try. What about you?
Most definitely. Not because I'm diamond status, we're diamond status, nothing like that. But I think I definitely want to try it again. I definitely want to experience Ocean Key. I definitely want to experience that private island. That was our selling point. And I'm a firm believer of try the cruise line for yourself. You're going to hear everything. You're going to see tons of videos. You're going to see articles. You're going to see everything on IG, TikTok about MSC. But everybody's experience is going to be totally different. It's just like eating some macaroni and cheese, some mac and cheese.
Everybody, mac and cheese.
Yes, but everybody taste buds is different, and that's just like cruising. Everybody experience is different. But one thing I want to say, MSC, their ships are beautiful.
Yes,
their ships are beautiful.
That is true.
The amenities you're looking at, you're seeing, it's nice. It's very nice.
Right, and I do have to give them credit because one thing they really did make sure to do, they honored all of our diamond perks without us having to go to them to request them. Now, we've been on other cruise lines in which we do have, we've reached a certain status with them. We didn't receive our, whatever it was that we were supposed to have received until we asked for them, and then they would accommodate. But MSC, we would get a knock on the door and they would be delivering whatever it was that we were supposed to have had delivered for being diamonds. So I do appreciate them for that. And so, yes, we'll give it another try. This one, somebody did ask privately, they asked, why did we choose to, they had several cruises that were going to Ocean Key. Why did we choose to fly all the way to New York just to sail back south? And truthfully, it was because this was a free cruise. And it was one of the travel agent perks. And even though they say free, you still have to pay taxes and port fees. And that's the reason why we chose this particular one. But yes, we will give them another try. And, just to see how it is. So now, thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and just drop us a line letting us know, would you be willing to try MSC? If you've tried MSC in the past, what was your experience? Comment below, and thank you again. Until next time,
peace.